This viral crypto game is currently making me around $14,000 a day. But what 99% of people playing this game don't realize is that the real asymmetric bet isn't the game. It's the tiny altcoin behind the game that I've been talking about for months now. In this video, I'll be diving into my full thesis on this altcoin and why I believe it's primed to go much higher going into alt season, riding off the success of this team and how they're able to produce viral hit after viral hit, as well as I'll be sharing a little bit about how I'm able to make that $14,000 a day playing this game and why it's not quite what it seems, at least in my opinion, and where I think it's likely going to be headed next. The altcoin that I'm talking about is Virus, and this is a project that I've been talking about for months now. It's a project that I got into the day that this token launched. I was talking about it in videos when it was at 3 million market cap. I was talking about it in videos when it was 1 million market cap. And it's one that I've been really consistently bullish on because this team is just so stupid good at building hyper viral games. And my belief and my thesis across all these videos has been that because they're so good at building these really viral games, that attention will eventually rotate into the token, the Virus token. And this is also one of the tokens that I included in my 10,000 to 1 million portfolio. So I have this portfolio where I put $10,000 in. I'm trying to turn it into over $1 million over the course of this alt season. And I only chose 7 tokens to put in that portfolio. And one of those 7 was the Virus token. And the Virus token comes from a gaming studio called Pandemic Labs. And you've probably seen me show this screen a bunch in past videos where I highlighted their first game, Infected, which had over 1 million people playing this game at its height. It was extremely popular, extremely viral, and insanely successful. And Infected was basically a twist on memecoins. And this is kind of how this gaming studio operates. It's not like a game in the classic sense. It's not like Fortnite or Minecraft or anything like that. These are almost a completely new category of gaming where they have heavy amounts of speculation and social aspects woven into the game. So their first game, Infected.fun, was basically a twist on meme coins. And for me, when I think of meme coins, obviously I don't think of investing because that is stupid. I think of meme coins as a form of gaming. Like you're going in there, you're trying to find, the right meme that you think is going to pop off. You're trying to make money. It's a quick, you put money in, you take money out kind of game. And the genius of Pandemic Labs is they took that same kind of concept of meme coins and they turned it into an actual game. And so Infected was basically you had all these different meme coins of sorts that were different types of diseases. So like, just really horrible diseases that would wipe out humanity. And in the game, you went and bought the disease that you thought would be the most viral. And basically the token that is the most viral ends up getting the most buys, ends up going up the highest. And if you bet on that token really early on, you made a ton of money. And if you bet on the other tokens, you didn't make as much money. Really simple thematic game with meme coins that makes a lot of sense as a game and was a lot of fun for people who participated. Their second game, Insider, was really similar, but with a twist. Instead of viruses, these were different companies. And you would bet on the company that you thought would be most successful. If you held the most tokens for that company, you became the CEO of the company. And you do basically hostile takeovers of the other companies. So basically, the most successful companies would absorb the other companies, making those original holders of the successful company even richer until there was one final company that won everything and you made a ton of money. Again, like I said, both these games were highly social and highly speculative in nature. And because of that, they were insanely popular, especially among crypto holders who love to speculate. And that's kind of the genius, again, behind Pandemic Labs and what they've been doing. Now, even though each of these individual games might have, as a part of the game aspect, different tokens, there's actually one token behind the entire gaming ecosystem, and that's the Virus token. Virus is the single token that captures all the utility and all the attention across all these viral games and all viral games going into the future for the entire pandemic ecosystem. And basically what I've been arguing is that Virus is being valued at this extremely low market cap as if it's like just this single token for like one experimental game, when in reality, this is the value capture token for the entire pandemic ecosystem that will continue to capture attention as Pandemic keeps launching games long into the future. Basically, as Pandemic Labs converts hype into sustained loops across multiple games, Virus becomes the index for all of that attention. But not only that, Pandemic Labs has publicly stated that a portion of the revenue from each of their games goes towards buying back the Virus token, meaning there's a direct connection between the revenue of this gaming ecosystem and the future value of the Virus token. So the more successful these games are, the more money that these games make, the higher the virus token should go in the future. Not only because, again, it's capturing all that attention, but also because you have a direct buyback and burn function from the revenues of these games. Now, I just mentioned their most recent game, Addicted, and this game has gone not just viral, but hyper viral in the crypto space. You have Solana retweeting it. You have pretty much every major crypto influencer playing the game or talking about the game or jumping into the game. And the in-game token in less than 24 hours went from a market cap of 300,000 all the way to 83 million in market cap. And it's gotten so bad that it's actually causing congestion where people are trying to go and buy packs and claim packs. But because so many people are doing it at the same time, a lot of these transactions are going through and failing. And I would have to imagine at this point, the Pandemic team has made millions and millions of dollars off of this game just within the first 24 hours, which is absolutely crazy. And as you can see here, Weed, the token behind this game, has already done 27 million in 24-hour volume. And I'll get into how this game works in just a second, but I want to really highlight that most people playing this game do not currently realize that the token behind the entire Pandemic Labs ecosystem is the virus token. I think a lot of people are actually getting confused thinking that the Weed token is the token behind the Pandemic Labs ecosystem, when in fact it's just the token in the game. Just like I mentioned, the other games had their meme coins or various tokens that were in the game. This is just the token in this game, where virus is the token for the entire Pandemic Labs ecosystem. And as you can see, obviously some people did figure that out, where Pandemic went from 5 million in market cap all the way to a height of 29 million in market cap because somebody just bought a ridiculous amount. But then it had a quick correction back down here to 15 million in market cap, which is, already a crazy, crazy gain for this token, considering we were talking about it back when it was 1 million in market cap. So that's a 15, almost 16x already. And had you sold the top, that's like basically a 30x, which is crazy good. But as you can see, the volume on this token's just been 6.3 million. That's nowhere close to what the token in their game is getting. And I think once more people realize that, hey, oh my gosh, the token behind not just this game, but every future game that Pandemic Labs will release is the virus token. I think you're going to see a lot more buying action behind this token, especially once people click into place the idea of that hype and revenue flywheel that I was talking about, where every successive game, the virus token indexes some of that hype and attention into itself and grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've highlighted this before, but last cycle, Axie Infinity was kind of like the breakout game of that cycle. And we saw it reach a market cap of almost 10 billion, which is crazy, okay? Because this was a token for just one game. This actually was just the token for a single game. It was not a very fun game, and yet it was able to go to a total market cap of almost 10 billion. To give you an idea of how insane that is, if Virus were to reach a similar market cap, Axie isn't currently at 10 billion, so I couldn't use it. But Hedera is currently almost as high as Axie hit at its height. If Virus were to reach just that market cap of 9.4 billion in the case of this one, that would turn every $1,000 invested into $626,000, which would be a 627x from, again, today's prices. If you got in back when I was talking about it at a million market cap, that'd be a 15x of that number, which would be just astronomical. Which, in my opinion, I think there's a much stronger case to argue something like Virus could hit that, given that it's an entire ecosystem token. And given how insanely successful these viral launches have been so far for the Pandemic team, and how they're likely only to improve going into the future. It's like each launch and release that they do, they learn from, they grow from, it kind of grows their brand and their name share. And so there's a really strong argument that each successive launch can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you can see, they already have multiple other launches planned down the line. So it's not just stopping here. They're going to continue launching these viral games over and over and over. They're going to continue to generate that hype over and over and over. And in my opinion, you can expect with each game's success to see Virus go higher and higher and higher, as Pandemic consistently rinses and repeats the same viral process. And I mean, this is the same thing that I've been saying for months. And, a lot of people ignored me when it was sitting at 3 million in market cap. And then a lot of people laughed at me when it went from 3 million market cap to 1 million market cap. But I just stuck to my thesis that, hey, this is a team I'm not going to bet against because they've proven they have this solid track record of generating hype and attention. I stuck with it, and now it's gone from 1 million to 50 million. And I think it's going to go a lot higher. I think it's going to go from 15 million to 150 billion. I think it's going to go from 150 million to 1.5 billion. I think it's going to go from 1.5 billion to as high as 10 billion to 15 billion, which obviously that sounds insane today. And I get that sounds insane. It really does kind of depend on how big of an alt season we get. I expect the alt season to be massive going into 2026. If I'm wrong about that maybe it goes not as high, or maybe it still does, because this token does have actual users. It's got an actual use case. You got all these players. It's got a lot of demand, obviously, because they're running into congestion issues, and they have actual revenues. And if it's anything like normal meme coin trading, Pump.Fun was the fastest company on the planet to go from 0 to 100 million in revenue. And so if Addicted can really kind of lock in and consistently generate fees off this like rinse and repeat cycle of speculation, then there's a really solid argument that they can make a ridiculous amount of money in this process. And the cool thing about them is like everyone doesn't hate them like they do meme coins, because everyone knows it's a game. That's the really big difference, is like nobody's confused. Like they know they're playing a game. They know these things are going to end. They're not going to last forever. And they're having fun doing it. And they're happy to do it over and over and over again, because it's a game. It's not an investment. And it's just kind of different in people's heads. Okay, so let's talk really quick about Addicted and how I'm making currently $14,000 a month playing this game. The game started literally yesterday. I got in on day one at the exact start and started kind of farming in the game. And basically, this is a simulator game where you're like a drug kingpin, and you're trying to build your like drug empire, basically. And so in the game, you open booster packs, and each booster pack will give you different variants of power. I've kind of blurred out some of these because I just don't know what YouTube would do if I didn't do that. But basically, you start with one grow power at 100, and then each booster pack will give you a different card, and sometimes you can get some rare ones that will boost your power. And you start out only able to have 4 slots to grow your power with. But each day, every 24 hours, you can upgrade your farm to unlock more slots and to be able to open more packs. And the higher your grow power, the more you end up making. And they equate it to something like Bitcoin's mining rewards. So they say every block weed emissions are distributed proportionally to each player's share of the network grow power. The formula mirrors Bitcoin's mining logic, but swaps hash power for farms. And then it adds at the bottom, Addicted follows a halving mechanism inspired by Bitcoin. The reward per block starts at 100 and halves every 7 days. And basically, you use this token for everything in game. It does have a fixed supply, so there's only going to ever be 240 million tokens. It's not going to go on for forever. That's why they have the halving. So they will get scarcer and scarcer as time goes on. Basically, the easiest way to think of this in your head is like early Bitcoin miners. They're making a ton of Bitcoin. They were giving out free Bitcoins to like visit their sites or whatever, because it wasn't a big deal. But as time goes on, as the price of Bitcoin climbed higher and higher, that became worth more and more. And so the early people that were mining Bitcoin ended up making a ton of money. That's kind of the logic behind the tokenomics of this game, but obviously with a silly twist in that like, they're not saying this is going to become the next gold. I don't think anyone believes that. It's just a fun game. And, who knows how long it lasts or doesn't last. That's just generally the system that they're using. And when you start the game, it says this: you rip packs, so open packs to pull seeds, rare seeds equal more grow power, build farm, slot your seeds to upgrade your farm and boost power, grow plants, farm the token every second for more grow power equals earn more. And typically when you go to buy a booster pack, it's going to be 300 of the weed tokens. Right now it's actually half off, so they're having like a special sale. And when you start off, you can only buy 10 of these packs. And so the way that I ended up doing it is I got in right off the bat, and actually at that time, the token was only valued at $1 million. And I literally just bought it so I could get more of those packs and kind of get ahead of the curve when it came to farming. So I ended up doing that. I bought 10 packs. I had like, $50 left over after that. And then the token just ended up going crazy after that, where it went from there all the way up to a height of $80 million in market cap, which was actually kind of the most insane thing ever. It just kind of proves out that this team is just so insanely good at making things go viral and just making their games go viral. Like I'm still going up. I need to unzoom out. This is still, oh my gosh. So my $50 ended up turning into like $5,000 or something stupid. I obviously deeply regretted not buying more of that token. I had $200 in that wallet. I was going to buy more, but I was like, I don't know. I was bullish on Virus, but I wasn't bullish on the in-game token. But obviously I should have been pretty dang bullish on that token. Anyway, my first farm was like, okay. I was earning a decent amount with that farm. But then today I unlocked the ability to upgrade my farm. So I spent all $5,000 or whatever between my earnings and what I'd saved up to upgrade my farm and to buy the booster pack. So I spent a lot of money in this game on round 2 of the money I earned from this game. So originally I didn't spend that much, but I ended up getting some crazy good pulls. And again, I'm kind of blurring out the images, but these are like crazy rare ones. If you play the game, like these are crazy powerful. And so right now I'm earning about 27,000 weed per day. That goes down the more people join. So that could end up, all day yesterday it was going down. It could go down all day today, who knows? But if you just do the math right now, the token is whatever, 47 cents we'll say, because it's kind of moving around. 47 cents times 27,000 equals around $12,000 a day. So earlier when I wrote the video, it was a little bit higher. You can see the price fluctuating up and down. I guess now it's only $12,000 a day. Obviously, that won't last. This game is like on purpose, sort of like a Ponzi in some ways, but like a game Ponzi that people are having fun playing. I'm having fun playing it, but it's not meant to be a form of passive income. It's not meant to be like a serious investment in any way. And it's you're more meant to take these tokens and use them to continue upgrading your farm or whatever. It's crazy that they're actually worth money right now because everyone's buying this token. But who knows how long that lasts. And we do have the halving coming up in 5 days, 6 hours, and 24 minutes, which will reduce those earnings in half. And that'll happen literally every 7 days, meaning you got to continually keep growing your farm to keep making at that rate, which maybe you do, maybe don't. I mean, there were people last cycle that were playing Ponzi's that they thought were investments, so not as fun. But they were making like 200, 300K a month, some of the early people. So it's possible, depending on how big the game gets, but obviously I'm not looking at this as any form of investment. And the only way to join at the start is you have to have an invite code. So I got in early, was able to give out my invite code. So you're basically this drug kingpin, and then all the people that you invite have to give a portion of what they make to you. And then all the people that they invite have to give a portion of the money they make to you. I've invited people just basically in the Obsidian Council. We all got into it yesterday. A lot of us are making a decent amount of money from having got in early. And I've been able to make 633 lifetime rewards, which at this point actually is about $300, which is crazy. It's a lot smaller than what I make per day just farming. But it's definitely something. If you're interested in playing the game, there's a link in the description of this video. This is my invite code if you want to use it. Just know that I do get some sort of financial upside from you using that, but you should know that this is an investment. This is not going to last forever. This is basically, like I said, a gamified Ponzi. This is fun. Like I like to pretend like I will make this amount of money, but that's really what I'm doing is I'm kind of pretending I'm going to make this amount of money because it's just not. In my opinion, I'm not actually counting on making this money, and I'm probably going to just take all this money and reinvest it to upgrade my farm. The real alpha is the virus token behind this entire ecosystem. That's what I've been saying from the beginning, and that's what I'm going to continue saying is they're going to launch more games. There's going to be a season 2 of this game. So this is just season 1. Season 2, you like build armies and all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy. But across all these games, all these seasons, whatever, virus token is the real alpha, and that's my deep held belief is that is where I'm like I've put a lot of money over the last few months into the virus token. I'm going to continue buying that token because I think it's going to go significantly higher from here. You guys know that I'm pretty consistent with the tokens I talk about. I pretty much just talk about the same tokens over and over again. But that's because I have conviction in those tokens. And as you can see, it kind of pays to have conviction because if I would have just talked about those months ago and then sold, I would have missed all the gains that actually come later down the line. And if I'm right, then when Altseason hits, the gains are going to be astronomical for the right altcoins if you're in them. And obviously, I don't know what altcoins are going to do well or not. I'm just saying it is going to be the people that had conviction that are going to make all the money. Hopefully I'm right. Hopefully I have a well thought out thesis with each of these tokens and I end up making a ton of money. That's the reason I'm playing this game. But those who are impatient and are trying to rotate in and out, like, yeah, that works with meme coins and maybe that's worked during the bear market. But I can assure you, if I'm right about Altseason, you will be the ones not making money, and it's going to be max pain. The rotators will have to learn not to sell. That's what Altseason teaches you. That's what the bull run teaches you is not to sell. And this always inevitably comes, and that's why people at the height of the bull market end up not selling, is because they were taught by the market. The market rewarded those who didn't sell, and it punished those who did sell all bull market long. And so they're buying every dip all the way down. The market always teaches you to be a sheep and how to lose money. That's basically its job, so that those of us who kind of think outside the box and are non-consensus can make all the money, which means you kind of want to be that person, not the sheep who's constantly doing what everyone else is doing. By the way, if you want to buy the virus token, there's a link in the description of this video, not only to buy it on chain, but also you can buy it now through Moonshot. It just got verified on there, so I'll include a link to that as well. If you want to just buy it with Apple Pay pretty easily, that's another option for some people who don't know how to use a wallet and get on chain. And really quick, the Obsidian Council is my private community where I share updates every time I buy or sell. I share my entire portfolio. I do weekly video market updates on the current state of the markets, these projects, everything in between, and a ton more. Currently, the Obsidian Council is closed to new members, but I'm opening it back up on October 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you're interested in signing up, join the waitlist in the description of this video, and I'll be sending an email on October 7th when I open it back up. As always, no, this is investment advice. No, this is me telling you to do anything with your money. I'm obviously not your financial advisor, and you should always do your own research. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.